Rise, you pervert! Your queen is here to storm on you. Good day guys, come here, welcome back to part 2 of the video for the Heroes release for July to August 2025 in the CN server. So what you're looking at right now is from the Langrisser Millennium WS, one of the should be the villain side. As long as you are not a protagonist, you are considered a villain. So she is the Empress of the Empire's faction. Well, before we carry on, a great thanks to information shared and provided by the Langrisser mobile app, 梦幻魔影站资料库. And without further delay, let's check her out. Okay, nice body. And yep, for all of you who have already seen her in the story arc, the original Millennium, yep, Zilong is good and great at doing extreme buff up makeover, especially the two dangling OPPAI. So yep, okay, funny enough, the English name or the Japanese version is known as Rapier or Rapier. Okay, allow me to do a double translation.
Rapier.
Yep, it's pronounced as the weapon rapier, but funny enough, the English written here is rapier, but the Chinese written here is 雷贝尔. Which, oh okay, no, my bad. I thought they call her Lei Bei Ka. My bad. Yep, Lei Bei Rapier. So she's voiced by none other than Miss or Mrs. I'm not sure she's married. With all due respect, Miss Shizuka or Shizuka Itō, whom has previously voiced, if I'm not wrong, Alpha from the game, from Langrisser, the third arc, Alpha. So, okay, for all of you who are interested and you like your voice actress, she previously voiced famous works. On the left is Toaru Majutsu no Index. She voiced as Kanzashi, aka Nana-sen Go, and on the right, she voiced as one of the side characters from Hayate no Gotoku, Hayate, the combat butler. So yep, if she's one of your favorite voice actors, save for tickets for her. Even if she's not, look at those mountains that have size. And I gotta say, she's definitely one of the female characters with very great and nice sword weapon. Well, look at the blade, the blood blade. If you didn't tell me or have not shown me how Langrisser has a look like, I might think that is that item. Okay, quick background on the story. She is the third princess from the new empire. She is the unit Iron Blood leadership commander. In order to persist through the justice of the new empire, she joined in the battle to fight or steal for against to get the ancient weapon. She hoped to, through the power of the great angels, she can build a new world with justice. So not really a villain, but it's the same as Langrisser 2, Glory of Light versus Darkness and Empire. Whoever wins, well, perhaps is is the one that is correct, or at the end, perhaps none of them are right. Everyone is fighting for what is right. Now, of course, other than darkness. Darkness are just pure evil. So, right, okay, relationship with Shion, or only with Shion, and of course the mild spoiler. If you are not interested, feel free to skip. But if you're okay, or you already played through the latest time brief, here we go. Okay, after Rapier has fused with the big Great Angel, I presume Great Angel should be Alhazard, because of the side effect from the fusion, her will and thoughts has been invaded and corroded to the point that she become crazy or losing her sane. Lending the power of Langrisser, Shion is ultimately able to defeat the chaotic Rapier and manage to awaken Rapier's will. And assist in recovering her to her original form before her death. So yep, this is some of the spoilers. So sadly, such a sexy princess. Okay, so my bad, the Great Angel is not Alhazard. So Alhazard is Alhazard and a Great Angel is something else, so it's an ancient weapon. I'm going to presume then, if that's the case, Great Angel might be Guy Frame, the mechanic unit from similar to Langrisser 4 and 5. But of course, this is just a presumption. I have not played the latest arc yet too. So, well, long story short, Shion kind of gave her salvations before her death. And this is her words to Shion, I presume. I admit. Oh gosh, give me a moment, guys. Okay, I admit the new empire has an ambition on dominations, but our target and ideal is to make the world a paradise that has abundance of resources and not wasteland that has been burnt to crisp. So yep, like one of my friends, shout out to Lance, he once explained to me, in Langrisser's story, there is no absolute right and wrong for Glory of Light, Empire, and even Chaos, because Chaos idea is evil will always be needed to balance the world, and of course what Glory of Light does is not always correct too, and well, Empire are, and in most of the time their ideal actually are correct, but a lot of time they are either being used by the Darkness faction or for plot armor's sake from the Glory of Light faction. They are always being, elaborated. So sadly, it's like they are the clown of Langrisser. Sadly, I mean, this is just my opinion. I'm not saying the characters are clown, but for the plot sake of the story, it almost makes them like they are the clown. So, alright, and this is the voice pack. Here we go.
我こそは新帝国第三皇子レイピア・デル・ゾロト。
Okay, so what she's saying is, I am the third royal princess in charge of the new empire troops, Rapier del Zorot. Yeah, so well, her full name is pretty long and weird. So let's listen it to it again.
我こそは新帝国第三皇女レイピア・デル・ゾロト。
It's okay, she's just saying, I am the third royal princess of the new empire, Rapier del Zorot. But the Chinese translation, I mean, there's some difference. Is what is written here is the one standing in front of you is none other than the third royal princess that is in charge of the new empire unit, Rapier del Zorot. But my understanding of the Japanese context is not so long. She's just purely introducing herself like a royalty, as you have seen in the normal animes. So some of the stuff here is kind of extra. She didn't really say that, but oh well, that's pretty cool. Alright, that's it. We're going to part 2. We'll be talking about her skills, 3C, and here we go. So alright, welcome to part 2 of the video, guys, and sorry about it again. I gotta revoice or redub this part 2 because for some reason, due to the faulty device, the recording is not saved, so I just gotta redo it. So no worries, we'll be going through, and okay, on part 2 we'll be going through all the factions, skills, further backstories, and effects. So Rapier, so some expansions of a backstory. So let me go through again. So in order to let the world's civilians to live in peace like the citizens in the new empire, so Rapiers went into a lot of war and wins a lot of battle. So the whole land quickly known and trembled in fear under the expansions of the new empire led by Rapier. However, whether it's her close one, loved ones, her subordinate, and even the most common of all, civilians of the nations, they have all shown nothing but love and respect to this great princess of the new empire. She's the one who reshaped or recast the path of the empire. And overall, you got to say, like the usual Langrisser story is that the people of empires are not really bad people. They if I anything I would say is the way they do things is just slightly a bit too aggressive, perhaps because of this fact that people of different race and cultures in the story of their world can't really accept the way they do, and perhaps to some the way they do and act is kind of harsh. So the intention is actually good and her ideology is actually right and is actually proven, but well, she's not the leading character, so it's a bit sad for the way things might end for them. So this is usually the kind of sad story of people from the empire. So alright, she is from the factions of Empire of Glory, then the Princess Alliance, and last but not least, the Yellows. Okay, so she's able to receive all the factions, and there's a talent logo, which is, you know, very cool and sexy. You'll see the atas of the art. I mean, well, when I first look at this talent icon, the first thing that comes to my mind is Fate Stay Night Saber. One of the memorials, she's standing alone at a place with the wall place. Like that's like so wow, cool. That's a very kind of sad and cool at the same time. The environment and, you know, standing alone. So overall, I would say the storyline wise, she is not that bad. I guess she kind of being used or sacrificed for the sake of, you know, the game plot. The plot itself, she is not just like a crazy power-driven personnel. Everything she do really in the storyline is for the sake of humanity and the goodness of all the people. But okay, I'm gonna not fully let the cat out of the bag. You guys will find out when the story is out in your respective region. So here we go for her talent. So stay tuned the end for the translations I've done for you guys. Okay, her talent effect is loosely translated as ambitions of conquest. The effect are as follows. Number 1, increase attack defend by 25%. Number 2, when you end turn, target one enemy and apply the effect for 2 turns, known as justice battle. We'll shorten it as JB. So JB has the following effect. First, when target initiate attack with skills and attack unit, aside from Rapier, the target will lose 5 dispellable buff. Second, upon trigger, the skills will enter a CD of 2 turns before triggering again. Number 3, if any allies goes into battle with target enemy with JB effect, Rapier will teleport to the closest available space near the ally unit. Third, if Rapier already end turned, she will act again. Act again effect can only trigger once per turn. So very strong and very cool. So first off, she had increased attack defense by 25%. And number 2, when you end turn, you can target one enemy, which give them this effect known as Justice Battle. So note, I said effect is neither the buff nor the debuff. I'm gonna explain, in a short while. First thing is, if the target enemy that has this JB effect, if they initiate attack with skills and attack other unit aside from Rapier, they will automatically lose 5 buff. So this is pretty cool. High chance they will lose their faction buff or any strengthening buff, as long as they are dispellable. Then second is, upon trigger, the slightly downside, this skills will enter a CD of 2 turns before you can trigger again. But note, it is not fixed once per turn effect. You just it's a CD of 2 turns, so you can just override this after you act again. You can wash the skills. Number 3 is additional effect. Any allies that goes into battle with the enemy with JB effect, Rapier will be teleported over to the closest space near the unit. And the thing is, as long as she has already entered, she will trigger and she can act again. She just is only able to, with this effect, act again once per turn. Okay? Then additional things is Justice Battle effect, JB. So the JB effect is, number 1, the effect cannot be dispelled nor immune. Number 2, when battling with enemy with the effect, they will not attack first. Number 3, for PvP only, enemy with the effect cannot trigger revive and survive death blow. This is pretty cool. So Justice Battle has a very strong effect, and there's neither a buff nor debuff, because the first effect already said it cannot be dispelled nor be immune. So as long as you target the enemy, they will get it. And second is, when battling the enemies with the effect, they will attack second, so you get an attack first, which is cool. Then last but not least, only for PvP is which is the coolest thing. Enemy with that effect cannot trigger revive or survive death blow, but it did not really even though it did not state here, but this is only works when Rapier is the one doing attack. If it's other ally trying to heal the enemies with JB effect, they will still trigger revive. So this revive is only for Rapier only. Overall, it is not so bad. The only downside that I see from this effect is it only lasts 2 turns, so it can be easily washed off or cleared off via act again effect. So definitely any enemies that have this effect while they have act again available will, in my opinion, will definitely try to use it to wash this off, because the first thing is, enemies with JB effect, whether it's by Rapier or from your ally, as long as they goes into battle, as long as that enemies dare to initiate attack with skills and attack unit other than Rapier, they will automatically lose 5 dispellable buff. So this is almost like absolutely weakening the enemies. And I gotta say, this is absolutely great counter against tanker, especially our latest LLR Dragon Slayers, aka LLR Papa Vargas. It can trigger a lot of guard skills and effect, so they will not be able to guard their ally, because guard skills, after you use it, you need to wait for certain times or certain turns where before you can re-trigger the skills effect. So once they lose the effect, this is a very deadly situations. They can no longer guard their allies easily. So yeah, I'll say this is pretty cool. I mean, you just walk almost to the front of enemies or near the enemies and give them justice battle. Then you have a tanker guard rapier. So if they try to initiate attack with skills, they won't be fighting with rapier. They're fighting against your tanker, and they'll instantly lose the 5 dispellable buff. This is pretty cool. And she can act again, and this effect cannot be immune nor dispelled, which is very bad for our enemy. This is a very, very cool skill. I said this is not even an anniversary hero or heroine, and we are getting a very great, strong and cool characters. Okay, I gotta say, this is one of the coolest female characters that Zilong has released thus far, with great abilities. But as you can see, I guess a lot of things is single target. So as an effect, based on the effect, so you'll be finding out more as her skills are mostly shown to contain a single target. But she do have an AoE skills, so be patient, my fellow greeters. We'll be finding out soon. So again, because this character is so cool, good and strong, allow me to slightly elaborate. So I gotta say, she is like the before 4th anniversary, that time like Zilong will release a very strong heroes or heroine. Like she's like Zareta 2.0 of the period that she has, like, you know, one-shot killing skills against death blow effect, and she have infinity revive as long as there is no blood up. I gotta say, Rapier is kind of like that. The coolest thing, like I said, is her buff, her effects, right? Her effects cannot be dispelled. Then it has a lot of pros benefiting your side, like dispelling, and you get to attack first and inbuilt act again. This is pretty cool. And alright, now I guess we'll go to exclusive skill 1. So what you're looking at right now, she has also her 2 class, infantry and cavalry. So alright, we're going to exclusive skill 1, which I'll be translating as Iron Determinations. There's a 1C skills, a CD is now, the range is now, the AoE type is now. So the effect, it's a passive effect. Okay, it has the following effect: when battling with enemy with JB effect, the following will trigger. Number 1, increase rapier stats aside from HP by 15%. Number 2, dispel or debuff effect from rapier before battle. Number 3, copy all dispellable buff effects from the target before battle. Holy, oh my god, this is, oh my god, I gotta say that, I mean, oh my god, this is definitely, it's like, for almost 7 years, this has been one, or if not the best passive effect release ever. Despite it's not directly generic, but it is one of the greatest passive skills that has very great synergy and assisting effect to the heroes or heroine itself. So of course, the downside, as you mentioned, as is mentioned on the first line, is when battling with enemy with JB effect. So if an enemy do not have JB effect, you do not get to enjoy the benefit. However, it's pretty cool. So A talent already gained a plus 25% to attack defense, and this effect followed by further increase of 15% and its overall stats aside from HP. But let's just talk about the offensive attack. So it's 15 plus 25%. Just her talent with passive alone gave her an increment of 40% on the offensive side. This is pretty strong. I actually have like a higher, more than 50% or even more than 70% chance to one-shot the enemy that she's trying to attack. Not to mention, second effect is before battle, you'll dispel all debuff effect from her and any dispellable debuff. That's pretty cool. And last but not least, she will get a copy of dispellable buff effects from the target enemy with JB effect before battle. So this is the coolest thing is if enemies has any healing skills like Tiara's healing skills before or after battle, or any characters with before or after battle, you get to copy it over. Before battle, if you are kind of in low health or no more than 80% HP, there's a high chance that you'll be healed back to full health before you enter the battle. This is a great benefit to not just Rapier but also the soldiers unit. Then coming down to exclusive skill 2. So like I said, well, that passive exclusive skill 1, I'm gonna give it like a 20/10 points. Okay, the hype is there. So okay, exclusive skill 2 from the cavalry class, it's translated as battlefield banner or battlefield flag. So it's a 2C skills, has a CD of 3 turns, the range is 3 blocks, the AoE type is physical 3 blocks. Okay, the effect as follow. Number 1, deals 0.36 times AoE damage to enemies in range. Number 2, teleport damage enemies near the target locations. Number 3, create a 1-turn terrain effect on target locations known as battlefield banner. Okay, battlefield banner has the following effect. So it is, first off, it is a terrain with command aura effect that affects up to 2 blocks range. Okay, the battlefield banner command aura effect are as follow. First, enemies standing 2 blocks around it will have their defense reduced by 10%. Number 2, second, when they move out of the range effect, each block they move will consume an additional mobility. Third, when enemies enter within the command aura range, they will lose 2 random buff effects. Fourth, enemies with JB effect will priority be teleport to the center of the point, and all above effects will be increased by double. Fifth, last but not least, this terrain has a higher terrain coverage priority. Whoa, this is again another top-notch skills with effects, but of course it is not without downside. So I'm gonna go with the pros first, and of course forgot to mention exclusive skill 1, the greatest downside is a passive effect. So as long as the passive effect got shut down or disabled, she will not be as strong. So perhaps you might want to imbue her with things that prevent your things that disable your passive. So back to exclusive skill 2. So number 1, it deals 0.36 times AoE damage, so not too bad. And the effect, the downside I guess is the range is only affecting 3 blocks range. But second is pretty cool, is a teleportation skills. You'll teleport all the damaged enemies to near the center of the terrain, the command aura terrain, which follows to number 3 because you create a 1-turn terrain effect on the target locations, which is this terrain command aura battlefield banner. So it only lasts for 1 turn, but the effects I'll say is pretty cool and strong because by default any enemies that is standing 2 blocks around the terrain will have defense reduced by 10%. So higher chance for her to even one-shot you. Then second is if the enemies attempt to move out of the range effect. So after they move out of on the third blocks, because the range is on the center, so it's around 3 blocks range. So you try to move out is the 4th or 5th. The moment you attempt to move out, each block they try to move will consume additional mobility. Perhaps we'll find out more during the demo play on how many mobility consumptions it will cause. Is it on every movement or only just a single one time? Okay, the next thing is if the enemies don't dare to, for some reason they don't dare to, or they cannot move out of the common aura range effect, they will automatically lose 2 random buff effects when they enter. So this has a great synergy with the talent itself, because if the enemies are stuck within the zone, and they will automatically lose 2, and with her JB effect, if your allies try to attack the enemies with JB effect, they'll lose another 5 buff effect. This is a total of losing 7 buff effects. This is sick. Okay. Then fourth is enemy with JB effect will priority be teleport to the center of the point, and all above effects will increase double. So enemies with JB effect will have their defense reduced by not 10% but 20%, and instead, and also when they try to move out of the range effect, each block will not consume an additional but 2 additional, meaning when you try to move 1 block, you need to consume 3 mobility. Then not to mention, enemies standing in the center, when they enter, instead of losing 2 random buff effects, they'll lose 4. And to combine it with the JB effect, if your allies try to attack it, the total buff effect that they can lose in just a single strike, and topping up with this AoE skills, it can go up to 9. This is very, very sick. And last but not least, this terrain is not your lower tier terrain, it is a higher terrain coverage with priority, so it is not easy for you to clear off this terrain provided by her. So I'm gonna say it's not too bad. She is mainly a single target heroine, but she was given a pretty strong AoE skills, I gotta say, though the downside is only lasting 1 turn. And that's it for exclusive skill 2. We'll find out more on part 3 with the description. Last but not least, we are now at her 3C. This is loosely translated as Falling Sword of Final Battle, or Final Battle Meteor Sword. The reason for this name and the translation is, if you look at the character's icon, she is summoning from the sky a fallen meteor in the shape of a sword. Okay, it has both passive and active skills. The skills has a CD of 4 turns. The range is 1 block. The AoE type is physical single target. So we're going off with passive effect first. Okay, so just to showcase you guys a picture, she literally summoning a meteor out of nowhere from the skies, with her sexy structures, and holding onto a very cool blade, and the meteor is in the shape of a freaking meteor. This is one of the coolest 3C skills or icon I've ever seen. Okay, back to the passive. Sorry guys, like I said, Rapier is very, very one of my favorite characters, with the backstories, her characteristics, and also the skills. So passive is when you initiate attack and goes into battle with enemy with JB effect, increase damage deal by 25%. So yep, that's all. That's a one-liner for her passive effect, but it's pretty cool. Any enemies with JB effect goes in, or when you got to initiate and goes to battle, automatically gain damage increment by 25%. So you have top it up with other damage buff. You can go like 40% and above, which is pretty strong. It's almost like the enemies will 100% die or they cannot Langrisser with the characters. Moving on to active skills, the effect are as follow. So yep, that's all for passive, one line effect. Active skills, number 1, attack and deal 1.8 times damage to target enemy. Number 2, if there is a unit with JB effect 3 blocks around the target enemy you try to attack, the unit with JB effect will be replaced with the initial target and will be forced into battle with you instead. Second, if there is no unit with JB effect 3 blocks around the target, you will receive 25% lesser damage in this battle instead. Number 3, if this skill kills an enemy successfully, the following will happen. First, you will heal 30% of your HP when you end turn. Second, reduce this skill CD by 4 turns. Number 4, if the target enemy you kill has JB effect, the following will happen. First, you'll copy a max of 3 dispellable buff from yourself to allies around the field that are from the Empire faction glory. Then second, remove or reset your talent CD effect. Oh my god, guys, you guys definitely got to pay and save your crystal for this hot lady, because she will make your game freaking easy, cool and fun for all of you. Of course, unless you guys like freaking great challenge against enemies, you can feel free to skip her, but if not, Rapier is definitely must summon. She has great passive, 1C passive, her exclusive skill 1 is a great passive. Second is great AoE, and 3C. So let us re-summarize and go through. So the number 1 effect is attack and deal 1.8 times damage to a target enemy, is common, not the max. The max currently we enjoy is 1.9, but not too bad. Second is if there is a unit with JB effect 3 blocks around the target enemy you try to attack, the unit will be swapped. Also, it will tag into the battle with you instead. Okay, what does this mean? If you guys are familiar with Mama Tiana's effect, the person that she tried to, the last guard that she pledged loyalty to, if she stands 3 blocks near the allies, if enemies try to attack the target ally, Mama Tiana will instead go to the battle instead of your target allies. So she is an outright strong cavalry or infantry assassin. She will force, so you will be, so one example is I will cast JB effect on a healer, which is 3 blocks within the enemy's tanker. Let's say it's Landis. So I'll go over, cast any act against skills or other thing, and I'll purposely attack Landis, and instead of going to battle with Landis, the healer, for example, which is Rose and Seals, will be replaced with Landis and go into battle and fight with us instead. How cool will this be? Because a healer will definitely not be able to win either infantry or cavalry in a normal battle. Not to mention she has all this freaky passive and effects. Okay, then the thing is, there is a like, if this thing happen and if it doesn't, there's a second effect. So there is almost no dead corners for this skill. So the first one is enemies with JB effect, if they are sending 3 blocks around the target, not around you, just around that target, that will be cool. This makes the whole range great, even bigger. And however, if there is no unit with JB effect 3 blocks around the target you try to attack. So instead you will receive 25% lesser damage from the enemy in this battle, which is not too bad. And number 3 is if you successfully kill the target enemy, or if you sorry, I got correct. It says if this skill kills an enemy successfully, okay, you will heal 30% of your HP when you enter. So you get to automatically heal yourself, though one downside is it's not a great healing battle damage, but 30% is not too bad. But what comes next is even better. It's automatically reduce this skill CD by 4 turns. You automatically reset the CD of this 3C skills. Yep, if you guys notice, the CD of this skills is 4 turns, so you can use it straight again later on next turn, or once you get act again from your allies or from your talent. Number 4, if the target enemy you kill has JB effect, you will copy the max of 3 dispellable buff from yourself and give it to allies around the field that are of the Empire's Glory factions or Empire faction unit. Okay, what this means is if you have other allies who are from the Empire factions, let's say they do not have any buff at all, and it is just so lucky that you have at least you have any buff, and of course the max you can do is provide any 3 randomly give 3 available buff you had on yourself and give it to allies on the field who are from the Empire factions. She is a mini faction buffer, yes. Initially I thought her passive skills already give the abilities to copy buff effects, so I was like, why she copy again? So this time around is different. The passive copies enemies dispellable buff to herself. Then with this 3C, if you manage to kill off the enemies, you can copy a max of 3 dispellable buff from yourself to allies of the Empire factions. And okay, the first person I can think of right now that will have the greatest benefit will be Papa Vargas. He is a tanker and he is from the Empire factions. That will be cool and great. Then last but not least, if you manage to kill the enemy with JB effect, you will reset your talent CD effect. So this means after you kill the enemy with the JB effect, and when you enter, your talent effect will trigger. You get to repick and choose the next unlucky victim who will gain this JB effect, and if they dare to attempt to attack you or your ally, they are in for a nightmare of their time. So this whole 3C has great and super synergy with exclusive skill 1, the passive. So let's say I target any enemy on the field with JB effect, casting from that, I'll just go there to attack them, then kill them off. Before killing them off, copy all their buff, and after finishing them, if there is any other Empire factions, they will get to copy the buff. Then the best thing is, even if I don't copy, the main thing is I get to reset my talent CD and reset the 3C effect. This alone is very cool, and of course there are even more deadly combos which we'll find out during the demo play. Okay, we have come to the end of part 2. We'll find out more in part 3 about the pros and cons of the skills talent effect and how it really works, and see if it really benefits. So here we go. Alright, we are now at part 3 of the video. Very great thanks to information shared and provided by the Langrisser Data Bank 梦幻模拟站资料库. And here we go. So okay, it's pretty cool. Again, she do not need character bond for her attack bond. She only need defense bond, that is Shion. Only Shion is needed to help unlock her defensive bond. So that's pretty cool. And to unlock the attack bond, you only need to unlock her infantry class and that's it. So this is a stat comparison, and of course overall cavalry has high mobility, but the stats are lesser, as you can see. Lesser HP, lesser defense, magic defense, and skills. So but infantry has very low mobilities unless you equip her with the angel boots, but she might be prone to silence and a lot of debuff effect. Okay, hard bomb for cavalry followed by infantry. Cavalry is berserk commander path. So level 4, when unit has 7 or more buff effect, when going to battle, damage received reduced by 10%. Level 7, when unit HP is above 80%, increase damage due by 10%. Okay, Uncrowned Emperor, which is an infantry path, level 4. When receiving attack from units with debuff effect, when being attacked and going to battle, reduce damage taken by 10%. Level 7, when receiving attack and going to battle, increase damage due by 10%. Not too bad for both of them. There is not too big of a drawback. I mean, we all know that her effect can give some slight debuff, damage increment, so she's definitely not going to lose out on any of the class. But of course, in PvP, we're going for mobility is definitely going for cavalry. Okay, so from her talent, so just now the question is, her talent's JB effect is a global effect. There is no range drawbacks like within 3 blocks, within 5 or 7. In the past, a lot of heroes have limitations like 7 blocks, but Rapier, well, definitely one of the best heroes so far. She's not even an anniversary heroine, and great effects. So it's a global effect, pretty cool. So must draw, in my opinion. Even not for PvP, is a great assistant in PvE. Okay, regarding triggering the effect of Just Battle, that will cause her to be teleport near the unit and act again. Oh, that's a pretty pros and cons, depends on situation. Is aside from Rapier allies unit, if they battle with enemies with Just Battle effect, no matter you initiate attack or you're being attacked, you will trigger the teleport and act again effect. So and also the effect has the sequence. You will trigger teleport first, then act again, followed by going to battle for your allies. So Rapier's effect will trigger first, followed by your allies going to battle. And for the 5 dispel effect before battle is enemy have to use active skills, so normal attack will not trigger. Like the following example, if Rapier's casts JB on Dragon Slayer or Papa Vargas, if he has not used any skills, it will not trigger this dispel effect. So this effect, pros is if enemy use skills, this will trigger. Cons is this purely just stop enemies from not using active skills to attack, but if enemies offensive stats are strong at the start, this might not be a big issue for them. Okay, for sealing of revive effect corrections, sealing of revive effect and enemy not able to attack first is only works and effective for Rapier. And the sealing of revive effect only work when Rapiers go into battle with the enemy. If she use AoE skills, this will not trigger. So the following is an example that I use. An ally that kills the enemy with JB effect and sealing the attack first, they does not work. So we will check the following clip. So it's Elwin versus Wetham. So you can see. So Wetham do not have attack first against Elwin. Okay, what we can see is, however, being attacked, Rapier will be teleported to the unit. Okay, the following is, okay, they use Wetham to attack an Elwin with the JB effect, kill him off, but he's still revived. So, well, maybe she's just not that strong as I've described earlier on through the text written out, but I feel it's still strong. And of course, AoE does not seal the revive effect even from Rapier herself. So you can see she's casting her exclusive skill 2, Battlefield Banner. So you can see enemies still revive. Then the next example is, what if you copy Rapier? So when Enya is on the field, a photocopy of Rapiers and the original Rapier, they will enjoy and share the same JB effect. So if the copy unit or the actual unit pinpoint an enemy with JB effect, if the enemy attack, okay, so I'm going to repeat again. If the photocopy Rapier pinpoint an enemy with JB effect, if enemy attack the original Rapier, it will still triggers the copy unit and the actual unit teleport and act again effect, but the dispel effect will only trigger once, only dispel 5 buff from enemies, not 2 buff. So we'll check the following example below. There's, wow, pretty cool double act again. So there's a very cool effect. Cool, let's check again. So okay, this is attacking Enya, but the description is talking about the act again. Oh, let's check again. Both of them teleport. Yeah, yes, you can see. So the point here is to see the copycat and the actual Rapier both triggers the teleport effect. So some cons is Rapier is effectively strong from when she's rank 5 onward, because the talent CD will be 2 turns only. If not, pre-rank 5 will have a little bit more drawbacks, but that's not a big issue in my opinion. And there's a list of skills she had. Okay, the first 3 are exclusive and 3C, followed by, yeah, she has Chivalry. Oh my god, she even has Sword Soul. You can dispel a lot from enemy. And she has Sun Slash, she can heal herself. Sudden Strike, cause enemy not be able to heal raw. So okay, very decent single target attacker. That's pretty strong. Okay, talking about the gimmick about the 3C, switching, tagging out the target enemy with, if they have other allies, that is 3 blocks around them, and is a target skills, and this is similar to Mama Tiana's replacing battle effect, but instead on your ally, it's against enemy. So Rapier can work as similar to an assassin. So you can see the following clip. So we try to attack Landers on purpose, but there's allies with JB effect 3 blocks around Landers. So you see, you'll target the Liana with the JB effect. So you see, because we cast Chivalry and act again, then we will pinpoint Liana, then attack Landers. So we will force Liana to go into battle instead. So this is a new style of assassin play, tagging out ally unit in place of tanks. So this kind of render your tank units kind of useless, unless the tank unit is Papa Vargas. And overall, in my opinion, I feel that she's specifically released as anti-unit against Papa Vargas. And on her 3C, further explanations that her 3C effects can directly attack enemy unit with JB effect, and this attack can ignore guard. Oh gosh, this is too extreme. This is a close range, highly damaged assassin unit. So you can see she's attacking Lina, while Landis, as you can see, having the guard icon, but she can just, ignore the guard and attack Lina straight. I'm going to presume she will be highly banned. She will receive a high ban rate in Apex. Okay, Iron Will Determinations, the Iron Determinations, the passive, increased stats, nothing much. Further explanation is whether she attacked or when she's being attacked, both will triggers the stats increment, and also the dispel effect, dispel of debuff from herself. That's pretty cool. Then okay, AOE, the 2C Battlefield banner. Okay, same as exactly the same as what I have explained earlier on. So alright, the rest will be during the actual live demo play. We will see if we can find out more. So we have come to the end. This is last but not least the suggested item build for Rapier. So enchantment will be Breeze, and you see PvP and PvP rating are very high. She's definitely the rating given here is at least tier 1, but I feel that she's tier 0. But of course we will find out more on her actual stats. Actually we find out early on. So yeah. So okay, this is on the left is an item build based on the current meta. A normal and common build, nothing too great or bad. Perhaps hopefully in future there will be more better builds such as for her, but she, in my opinion, she does not really rely on the items. It is mostly on her own talent and effect. That is enough. So alright, this is Kami. We have come to the end. I hope this video helps you a lot, and if you like, give it a like and subscribe. We'll see you guys on Patreon video featuring SP Bozo. Goodbye.